And my paradigm, the pattern, the program that everything that I do is running off started to shift. So suddenly I started to become lighter. Really, it's the best way to say it. I just started to just look around and go, wow, everything's pretty freaking amazing. And it's me who's causing myself to feel like crap so much of the time. So what if I have this different point of view? Oh my gosh, suddenly I'm feeling amazing about life.
Welcome to Trujectory, the podcast committed to helping you align with who you really are, your true self. The one who is so comfortable with their uniqueness, so in love with life, and so effortlessly able to manifest everything they always dreamt of. I want this podcast to be a resource to help you jump into the driver's seat rather than continuing as a passenger in your own story. Let's understand why we choose to hold ourselves back so we can shed the lies that we've programmed into our minds. We can heal the root causes and step into the epic human that we know we can be. If you're ready to start aligning with your trajectory, let's do it.
So, what is it that lights me up? Why am I doing the work that I'm doing now? What has this podcast been created for? The thing that I absolutely adore is watching people step into their true purpose, into the shoes that they know that they could fill and them alone because of their unique abilities, their outlook on life, their perspective. And I especially love seeing it when people have come from a place where they weren't in their true self. They weren't in a job that they enjoyed. They were doing things that they felt like they had to. And suddenly they woke up and went, holy shit, I know I can do better than this. I know I can live a life that I enjoy. And why shouldn't I? Why don't I deserve to live a life that I enjoy? And suddenly those thoughts start to bleed into every area of their life. And then they start to see their own potential. They start to take risks. They start to take action towards something they love. And it's the passion behind all of that is guiding everything that they're doing. And that's what I love seeing. I love seeing people step into their passion. And because that thing, whatever it is, whether it's one thing or 12 things, the things that you long for, you yearn for, you go to bed wishing, you've got this vision in your mind that you think, oh, one day I'll get there. Or alternately, you're thinking, oh, that's too big of a vision. I'm never going to get there. Whatever your mindset is around it at this point, that thing that is burning like a fire inside of you that you can't shut down no matter how much you try, that thing is what you came here to do, to be. That's what your soul is like screaming at you, going, this is what you're meant to do. Ignore the noise and start heading towards this feeling. It's all about following the feeling, right? So, I love seeing people step into who they're really meant to be, their true selves. But how are we meant to do that if we don't even know who we truly are? And I think this is the biggest issue that so many of us deal with. This is why we turn to self-sabotage, we turn to addictions, we are unhappy, we have behaviors that don't align with us, and then we beat ourselves up. And all of these things stem from the fact that we don't know who we are. So when we don't know who we are, we don't know what we truly want. So then we don't know what steps to take. So then every day feels like you're just sort of this uphill battle. You're working your ass off, doing things you don't even necessarily enjoy for money that is so much less than you deserve. And you just don't understand why you're doing any of these things. And it's not aligned with you. It just doesn't feel good. You're constantly in this state of feeling like crap. So when you have little pockets of time to yourself, we use those times to try and make ourselves feel better. And unfortunately, what we do is we distract ourselves. We turn to all sorts of stimulus, all sorts of instant gratification, things that aren't necessarily good for us long-term, but short-term, they bring us some happiness. So I really want to dive in today into how we get a little bit of a better understanding of who we truly are at our core, understand why we don't know who we are for starters, so we don't beat ourselves up about it. This is a natural thing that we've all gone through. And let's look at how we can start to shed some of these layers and start to step into our true authentic selves. So that's the plan for today. Let's see where we go. Tangents are my jam, so I'll try and stay on track as much as I can. So since birth, I'd like to use an analogy because I'm a visual person, and I know for some people, when you have something visual that you can sort of keep coming back to, it helps you remember this thing. So I want to bring a really random visual analogy to you all today. So since birth, imagine that every single time someone has told you something, it's been given to you as if it's a piece of clothing, right? So, I mean, we all know from 0 to 7, that's your sponge phase, basically. You are just soaking in your environment. You're soaking in everything that you see, experience, touch, feel, taste, hear. And then from 7 to 14, you are copying all of those things that you've learned. So you've now got 14 years of programming. And if the environment that you've been born into isn't ideal and isn't conducive to who you really are at your core, then chances are your personality, the behaviors that you've picked up, are out of alignment with your true self. So especially around those younger years, let's say 7 to 14 and onwards, people start telling you start having so many questions, right? You've learned a little bit and now you're curious. So now you have questions about everything. And you ask your parents, your guardians, your friends, your family, whoever it might be, random questions. Can I run a multi-million-dollar business one day, mum and dad? And because of their programming, they might come back to you and say, well, that's not realistic. No, that's not possible. Whatever it is, you might want to be a singer and you might run up to your parents or your guardians or whoever's looking after you and go, I want to be a singer. Can I do that when I'm older? Can that be my career? And the fear that the other people have gathered around their lives, that gets placed onto you. So if you imagine it visually as a piece of clothing, right? So let's say you ask someone, can I be a musician when I'm older? And someone says to you, that's not sustainable. That's a horrible job. And only 0.01% of the people who try that career actually get it. So then let's say that's a jacket and it's brown. So every piece of clothing that you're given, figuratively, it has a color, right? It has a different vibration. So the brown might be the behavior of, or the belief of unworthiness. And you start wearing that jacket every single day. And that jacket then has other layers that are placed on top of it from other people who have their own layers and layers and layers of clothing that have been placed on them by other people, and they don't even know that they're wrapped up in all of these layers that are false identity beliefs. So let's say you're getting a little bit older and someone makes you feel unattractive. Maybe you're going after someone that you like and you get shut down. And let's imagine that as a scarf. You've now got a scarf and you're wrapping that around yourself and it's green. And that green color is the vibration of doubt and the belief that I am unattractive and I am not worthy of love and I am not interesting enough. And it could be anything, right? But just imagine how many of these pieces of clothing that you have gathered and put on throughout your time so far. When I first woke up, when I first started to look into spiritual practices, I had a bit of a spontaneous awakening, and it really hit me like a light because I'd led my whole life up until 30 without knowing anything about anything outside of my physical senses. So suddenly when all of these things started to happen to me that were more energetic in nature, I started to really shift my reality. My reality is based off the paradigm that I have created. So the set of beliefs that I have installed, that I have placed into my subconscious mind, whether I knew it or not, and they have been running the show for so long. So suddenly all of these beliefs that I had held for so long started to come up for reevaluation. And my paradigm, the pattern, the program that everything that I do is running off started to shift. And it was, at first it was a bit uncomfortable. It was really unstable. I was going, oh my God, what is this shit? What's going on? Like I have these abilities that I didn't know I could do. I'm affecting people energetically. I'm doing healings on people that are not even in the same town as me. And they're calling me and telling me that they're having visions from it and they can feel it. And anyway, it was very confusing and mind-blowing and exciting. But the point is, my paradigm was changing. So all of the things that I had held as a solid, this is how life is, and this is the way I must act because of the beliefs that I hold, that all kind of went out the window. So suddenly I started to become lighter. Really, it's the best way to say it. I just started to see things for what they really are. Rather than having this lens of a false limiting program or belief around everything, I started to sort of just look around and go, wow, everything's pretty freaking amazing. And it's me who's causing myself to feel like crap so much of the time. So what if I have this different point of view? Oh my gosh, suddenly I'm feeling amazing about life. Suddenly my vibration's rising and I am attracting so many amazing things. And that's what happened to me. When I first woke up, everything shifted, and all of the things that I had been wanting in my life, suddenly these opportunities just bombarded me. They started coming in. Like, I had music gigs offered to me that I had been wanting for years. I always wanted to act, but I never really acted on it because I didn't believe that I could. And suddenly someone offered me an acting role in something. And it turns out, I mean, I'm a manifesting generator. Sometimes I need to experience things before I actually know if I like them or not. And I did enjoy the experience, but it wasn't something that really, really lit me up. So I didn't sort of follow that pursuit. But the point was, that was something that I had been wanting for so long. And out of nowhere, this opportunity came up and I got this amazing role in this short little film piece. And so many other things. It was like, I think there were about 12 things. I've kept a journal. I'm going to have to go through that and find out exactly what they are again. But that was because I was holding this new set of ideals and understandings about reality. And so I was in this beautiful love vibration, right? I was high vibe. Everything was amazing. And then, because I was so excited about all of the things that I was learning, I decided that it would be a great idea to share this information with other people so that they could also feel amazing like I was. Big mistake. And I think this is something that a lot of people go through when they start to tap into their spiritual side, and start to do some spiritual practices and all sorts of things. We get really excited because we feel so amazing inside, outside. Our life begins to change for the better. And all we want to do is share that with other people, and we want other people to feel the same way. And it becomes so overwhelming that you just bombard people with information. And that is what I did. I did to a few really close people to me who I thought would never, judge me, or never had really judged me in the past. But suddenly, with this new information and the excitement in my eyes, and obviously I looked a bit crazy to them, and I was told that I was crazy and that, maybe I needed to get some help and all sorts of fun things. And so that really quickly put me right back. I put on so many layers of clothing all over again that were handed to me by all of these people who were fear-based. And I felt like I started to adopt those beliefs myself again. So I saw how amazing it felt to shift my perception and to start stepping into who I truly was, and to just live in alignment with what I was feeling, rather than feeling like I have to force things or do what the status quo is telling me to do or the people around me expect for me to do. And then I saw how quickly my beliefs can then be tainted again, and it was all from external opinions. So this is such a strong thing that we all have to deal with. It's so easy to say, oh, just don't worry about what other people think. But let's face facts. It's fucking hard to not take that on board, especially when you're a very sensitive person like I am. So it is something to be really aware of, understanding that everyone else's perceptions and their beliefs and the things that they tell you are true, especially when they're said with confidence. It's really hard to go, to question that, or to go, maybe that's not in alignment with me. Maybe I don't have to believe that. It's really easy to just sort of go, oh yeah, well, they seem like they know, so I'm not too sure about myself, so I'll listen to them. And you've got to remember with this clothing analogy that these people have all had layers and layers placed upon them as well, from other people, other sources, media, commercial marketing, all sorts of things that have told them that this is how they should believe life is. This is how they should feel about themselves. These are the limiting beliefs that they should foster, they should own and live by. And so when you're taking on their beliefs, it's not even really their beliefs. So that's the thing. Why would you take on someone's belief when they don't even know what they really truly think? If you have some really solid friends or people in your life that have gone above and beyond to do the inner work, that have really taken the time to get to know who they are, and they have some advice for you, and you can see it's coming from a place of love, that's totally different. That's fantastic. If anything, surround yourself with people like that, because they're pretty few and far between. There's not that many of them going on at the moment. More and more as we move through this time, but at 10 years ago, I wouldn't even dream of speaking about some of the things that I'm talking about now, because of the dense energy and the beliefs that so many people around me had, and that made me feel like I had to adopt the same ways of thinking. So first of all, understanding that you have had so many layers placed around you that don't belong to you. So you will start to see them come up. You'll start to understand what they are and where they've come from when you start to question. So this is something I want you to start trying to do. When a belief comes up that you feel is limiting, that you feel is holding you back, for example, I'm not good enough for that, I don't have enough time to do this, only certain people get to have abundance, I don't, I am unattractive, I'm not smart enough, whatever it is, something that's limiting and that makes you feel crappy, I want you to just really simply ask yourself, is this mine or is this someone else's? Is this my belief? Has this belief stemmed from me and my core experiences that I have chosen? Or is it from someone else telling me this is what I am, and then I've believed that? So just starting to ask that, is this mine or is this someone else's? And you will slowly start to shed these layers of clothing. And that's when you can start to do the healing work. So becoming your true self is not something that's going to happen overnight. And, I'm a very impatient person. It's taken me a long time to come to peace with that. But it is such a rewarding journey. Every single time that you catch one of these beliefs and you are aware of it and you witness it in action and you witness it altering the actions that you were about to take. So just say you were about to do something really bold and daring because there was some fire, passion burning in you, and you decided, I'm going to follow this for a change. And then this belief came up and then you stopped. When you see moments like that happen, start to catch them and ask that question. Is this mine or is this someone else's? And the other thing I really want you to start working on is when people are giving you a hard time, when you've got some people in your life that are, it can be so many different things, right? But anyone who's giving you a bit of a hard time, or that you're just finding a lot of resistance with, whenever you think about them, you have this feeling in your gut. And you're like, oh, this makes me feel like crap. That person makes me feel like crap, whether they even know it or not. Think about who these people are in your life, and I want you to try and take 3 at a time. So don't dilute it with doing this with 20 people at a time, because it's going to be too much. Choose 3 people at a time, maybe 3 people for a whole week, and then another 3 people for a whole week. It depends how many people you have some issues with and some resistance with. Otherwise, because you might have 2 people and that's fantastic. You might have none. That's even better. But if you do have this resistance with some people, I want you to sit down for 5 minutes a day and just literally imagine them in your mind, imagine them standing in front of you, and send them love. And it sounds like, what the hell am I doing that for? They're bugging me. They're giving me such a hard time. And they're the ones that are making me feel like crap. And them. What you're doing by holding this person in a lower light and judging them, or getting angry at them for judging you, whatever the scenario is, when it's a lower vibrational state, when it doesn't feel good, let's not complicate it with all of the different possible emotions it could be. Let's just go, does it feel good or does it feel bad? If someone's making you feel bad, and then you start thinking about how they're making you feel bad, and then you start blaming them for them making you feel bad, you're feeling worse and worse and worse, right? And they're not even around. So they're the cause of you feeling crappy. They're not even doing anything right now. They might have said a comment, a throwaway comment that's really stuck with you and triggered you. And if anything, that's actually just highlighting some of the inner work that you really need to do. So you should be thanking them for that. But it's something that we all do. We hold on to these things that people say, or the way they look at us, or the way they make us feel. And then we blame them, and they're making me feel like this. And we become the victim. And we have lowered our vibration then to such a low state that we are attracting crappy experiences, more and more of them. The best thing to remember is that you attract what you are. So the energy, the vibration that you are resonating at, that is what you are attracting. So if you're sitting at home thinking, oh, Jane gave me such a freaking hard time and she made me feel like shit and damn her and blah, 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 then you are vibrating at such a low frequency. Jane can do whatever the hell she wants. She isn't even at your house doing anything to you right now, and yet you are letting the memory of whatever this interaction was cause you to have such a low vibration that you are now attracting crappy experiences into your life. And it just perpetuates. The more crappy experiences that don't align with you, that start to filter into your reality, the more you start to feel like crap. And then you attract more crap. So it literally is just a magnet. So sending 3 people, do it for a whole week so you really, really get it out. Feel love, feel gratitude. If you are really struggling with this and going, I can't send love to this person, they have wronged me so much, I want you to first of all get into a place of gratitude. So even whether you write it in a journal or whether you're sitting there and just listing things in your mind, list all of the things that you're so grateful for. And there are so many things to be grateful for everyone. You can start with the most basic things like, I'm so grateful I have fresh air to breathe. I'm so grateful I have a couple of beautiful pets. I'm so grateful I have my own apartment. I'm so grateful I have enough money to buy groceries every day. I'm so grateful I have a grocery store that I can buy groceries from near me. It can go anywhere. It can be anything, right? But that will get you into the place where you realize that you're able to change your energy and vibrate at a higher frequency. And then sending these people love, it is for you. It is for you to remain in a frequency of love, which is the highest frequency that we can possibly resonate at. And when you hold that, you are then attracting the things that you really genuinely want. And the other thing is the true self, the true authentic self that you are under all of these layers of clothing with different beliefs tied into them. Your true self vibrates at that frequency. So every time you do this, you are tapping into your true self. So this is a really quick, easy way to start stepping closer to the person, the being that you came here to be. And once you can do that, you can start having that lifestyle, that dream life that you have always imagined in your mind that you've wanted. And you've probably told yourself, I'm not worthy of that, or that's never going to happen. It absolutely can happen. Everything is just a matter of shifting your paradigm. And this is a great way to start. So have a look at the layers of clothing that have been put on you throughout your years. Have a look at what they represent, what actions they've stopped you from taking. Maybe even keep a journal, start writing down when you notice these things, and that's right. The first thing is ask yourself, is this mine or is this someone else's? This belief, this limiting story that I'm telling myself, is it mine or is it someone else's? And then also incorporating gratitude practices and sending love to anyone who you're not resonating with, who's giving you a hard time, who's making you feel bad. Sending them so much love, 5 minutes a day for a week, and then move on next week to another 3 people. And keep doing these practices, and I promise you, you will start to see results really, really quickly. And it all comes down to how you feel. You will start to feel good. And when you feel good, you start to want to do other things that are going to make you feel even better. You start to want to step into the goals that you've had for a while. When you're feeling like crap, who wants to go and chase some goals? You feel lethargic, tired, you doubt yourself. You don't want to then go and take a chance on something that might then reinforce your beliefs that you're not worthy. So it's easier to play it safe. But once you start feeling good, you're like, ooh, what do I want to do today? I could take a chance here. Ooh. And then when you do, you start to see what you're capable of. And that's when your confidence grows, your respect for yourself, and your confidence for yourself, it all starts to grow. And then pretty much we're getting into a place where the sky's the limit. But this is the very beginning of doing the work. So I hope this episode has helped. I hope you start to shed through those layers of clothing, start to rip them off, throw them in the fire, burn them. They do not belong to you and you do not need them anymore. You are so much better than you think you are in so many ways, and you can achieve so many incredible things. Just give yourself the chance to see that. Start with these exercises. Sending you all lots of love. For now, stay you, stay true. Mwah.